Who is responsible for control plane? Your Lisp.
Yes.
For data plane, we have the VXLAN. And for the topology plane, we have
Cisco trust.
Cisco Trust Set, CTS, in which we use SGT, which is known as Scalable Group Tag.
Right.
Or you can call it Security Group Tag. It is your choice. Okay.
Okay.
And you also know the reasons that why we are using for data plane traffic
Right.
instead of Lisp, right?
Right.
So there are two main reasons. First reason is
Just Lisp does
Lisp
not carry layer 2 parameter.
supports layer 3 overlay only, right? But VXLAN supports layer 2 and layer 3 both. Lisp cannot carry SGT and virtual network information. But VXLAN is having a dedicated field in the header, right?
Right.
To carry SGT and VN.
Yes.
These were two reasons. That's why we are giving preference to VXLAN over Lisp.
Right.
And then in policy plan, we have discussed about CTS. But you know that for CTS, we are using a Cisco software which is known as ICE.
Right.
You have to integrate ICE with the DNA Center
Yes.
to use this feature, Cisco Trust Set.
Right.
Now, today's session, we are about to start our DNA Center. So let me share the screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
So now it is talking about the Cisco DNA Center itself, right?
Right.
First of all, it is giving you the overview of Cisco DNA Center. Cisco DNA Center is a centralized operation platform for end-to-end automation and assurance of enterprise local area network.
Right.
This is not wide local area network. This is wireless LAN. Okay.
Okay.
And WAN environments as well as orchestration with external solutions and domains. So basically, what it is telling here, it is saying that DNA Center is giving you centralized operations platform for end-to-end automation, assurance for enterprise LAN, WAN, and WAN environment. Plus, you can integrate other softwares, other devices with DNA Center to increase the the available features. So as well as orchestration with external solutions, like one of the external solution is ICE, right?
Right.
And domains.
Right.
It allows the network administration to use a single dashboard to manage and automate the network. If you remember, in the first session of our DNAC class, we have discussed about the traditional approach. In today's network, we are just following a very, very simple approach to configure a network in which you have a device, which is a router. You have only two ways. Either you can configure it through console, or you can configure it through telnet or SSH. Remember,
Right.
this is the traditional approach. But if you have deployed DNA Center in your network, it will allows you to administrate the whole network from a single dashboard. Single dashboard means the GUI of DNA Center
Okay.
to manage and automate the network. All right.
Right.
Then some of the key highlights of Cisco DNA Center include: first thing is
High availability.
for both hardware components and software packages. Because if you talk about the physical box, we'll discuss about it.
Okay.
Backup and restore mechanism to support the test recovery scenarios. Role-based access control mechanism, which is known as RBAC.
Okay.
So
Hello.
basically, role-based access control is offered through ICE again
Right.
for differentiated access to users based on their roles and scope. Programmable interface to enable ecosystem partners and developer to integrate with DNA Center. Because in DNA Center, you'll see the support of APIs, application programming interface. So
Right.
with the help of APIs, other ecosystem partners and developers can also integrate with your Cisco DNA Center. Now, SDX's key components. ICE on the other side. ICE is not a component of DNA Center itself. Yes, but ICE is component of SDX's fabric. We can say that, right?
Right.
ICE is not a component of DNA Center, but yes, ICE is component of SD fabric, SDX's fabric.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if we talk about Cisco DNA Center itself, Cisco DNA Center is mainly having two
Okay.
parts: network control platform, all right,
Right.
and network data platform.
Right.
Basically, these two, you can say, components of DNA Center are doing different things on the network, on the DNA Center.
Right.
Like, mm, you can see that we have the campus fabric here. This is the campus fabric, in which we have switches, routers, Wi-Fi, switches, routers, Wi-Fi, right?
Right.
So we have Cisco switches, we have Cisco routers, and we have Cisco wireless.
Right.
So what NCP is doing here, NCP is taking care of the configuration part or the management part. So basically, it is having the netconf, SNMP, and SSH. Okay,
So
all of things are under the
network control.
network control platform. But on the other hand, we have the network assurance, or you can say the network data platform as well.
Hmm.
Basically, if we see what is network assurance, can you see the CLI? Sorry, the MS Paint.
Yes.
You can see it first of all. IT network assurance quantifies
I
risk from an IT network perspective based on, because you need the data for this, right?
right.
Based on analysis of network facts. Examples could be identifying configuration errors in the network equipment, which may result in loss of connectivity between devices, degradation of performance or network outage.
Right.
Or maybe you are seeing that this is your R1, this is your internet connection. You can see that there we are getting low speed, all right? Or
Okay.
this router is having high CPU utilization because how high amount of traffic. So what do you think, Nitesh? How do we take care of all these things in today's network, like without DNA center? How do you get to know that a fan is not working on a device?
SNMP.
SNMP,
Oh,
high CPU utilization, right?
right.
So we have the SNMP protocol, simple network management protocol. So we
Right.
will get the information so that we can take the appropriate actions
Right.
to overcome this the situation, right?
Right.
So see, network configuration using SSH telnet console is important, but as well as you need to take care of the device itself,
Yes.
like how the device is behaving, what is the like CPU utilization,
Yes.
the hardware is working or not, fans are working or not. You can see that device is heating or not, right? Because you
Right.
need to take care of the temperature as well.
Yes.
All of these things are also part of the network, just not the configuration, right?
Right.
Network is not limited to the configuration only. There are hundreds of things we need to take care of. So
Yes.
that's why on the DNS center itself, we have two main components. First component is network control platform, and second one is network data platform. So
Right.
basically, the network data platform is offering the assurance, while the network control platform is offering the automation.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see here we're collecting the data through NetFlow, Syslog, or HTTPS. So basically, NetFlow is a new technology or new protocol, right?
Right.
I'll give you an introduction of NetFlow. You'll see it. So basically, on this we have two main components: network control platform and network data
Okay.
platform. One more, which is identity and policy, but identity and policy is offered through ICE.
Right.
You can see right now here,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because you know that what is an API?
Application interface.
Application
Programming.
programming interface is used between two applications to exchange the information, right?
Right. Just like a medium.
Yeah, it is just a medium, like no human intervention is required. See,
Right.
API is on the peak right now, or you can say the API is so popular nowadays, but API is not like nothing new.
Right.
Like if you are using Facebook in your your mobile phone is having just an application, not the data, right?
Right.
So the application is having all the information, like how to represent the information. Where is the
Yes.
logo? Where is the username? Where is the profile? Where is the like button? Where is the dislike button? Where is the comment button?
Right.
But that application is not having the data.
Right.
So what that application will do? Application will say that I have the format. I know how
Yes.
to represent the data. but
Right.
I just need the data.
I need the information. Yes.
So in that case, your Facebook application will send an API request at the backend
Right.
to the server. So then server will give the information and the information will be represented.
Right.
So likewise, in between DNA Center and ICE, we are also using API, and I'll show you that which API we are using, right?
Right.
So at the time of ICE and DNA Center integration, you need to enable that API support
Okay.
on ICE.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, our solution is driven by Cisco DNAC. See, here the Cisco DNAC, it is talking about the hardware. You have DNA, DN2 hardware, DN2 hardware. Here we have 50 core CPU, here we have 56 core. Basically, you know, this DNA center is not a dedicated, see, you can buy it as a dedicated box, okay?
Okay.
But basically what Cisco is doing, Cisco has developed DNA center as a software,
Right.
right?
Right.
But you know that in order to run the software, you need the hardware. So
Right.
what they are doing, they are returning the Cisco DNA Center on Cisco UCS servers.
Okay. Right.
That's why it is telling you the devices hardware. You can say hardware
Yes.
details.
Right.
So if you have this 44 core, you can have switches, routers, and WLC 1000. But in this case, you have 2000.
Right.
Access point. Here you can have 4000. Here you can have 6000.
Right.
Endpoints, wired and wireless, 50 to 20,000. In this, you can have 10 to 30,000. Okay. Sites. Here you can have 500 different sites, but in this case, you can have 1,000 sites. Fabric nodes, 5,000 per site. Sorry, 500 per site, 600 per site. Okay.
Mhm.
IP pools. You'll say what is IP pools? You need to configure multiple IP pools at the time of fabric configuration. Like for example, you are creating a virtual network for HR department, right?
Right.
So when the HR user will be connected to the edge devices, they need an IP address.
Right.
So who will provide that IP address? We will provide the IP address through DHCP, right?
Right.
So at the time of fabric configuration, what I'll do, I'll create a DHCP pool, and that DHCP pool will be integrated with this VM.
Right.
And we have virtual networks, VM. You can create 64 VN per site. Here also you can create 64 per site.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the site is meaning like it is location wise, or
Yeah, location. Here you
so
can see.
one DNAC center can one or two DNAC centers can manage the sites.
Yeah, you can have multiple sites across the globe.
Mhm. Okay.
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 Yeah. So you can see that DN1 44 core CPU UCS M4 is out of sale. Now we have DN2 which is 44 core, but it is UCS M5.
Okay.
And then you have
This is
DN2 56 core which is UCS M5. Okay. And you can purchase this. But what we have did, we have installed a DNA center on the server.
yes.
We haven't
on how
purchased a
on a
dedicated box because the dedicated device is very, very expensive,
Mhm.
but it can be installed on the
VM.
not VM on the server basically as a VM.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see that you have more enhancement and we have 40 core seat 44, 56, and then 112 in DN2. The DN2 is having three types:
Okay.
44 core with 56 core and with 112 core. Okay.
Okay.
So again the capability is increasing: 1000, 2000, 5000. Access point 4000, 6000, and 12,000. 25,000, 40,000, and 100K.
Right.
500, 100,000, 2,000 fabric nodes. So the capability is increasing. At the end of the day, you know that, right?
Right.
So if we go to the Cisco site, Cisco DNA Center, you can see the Chrome, right?
Yes. Yeah.
View data sheet 2.3.3.3. Here we can see yeah. You see this
Yes. Right.
DN2 hardware APL, DN2 APL, and DN2 hardware APL XL. This is your Cisco UCS C220M5, 220M5, 480M5. You can see the same thing here, right?
Right.
Now you can see the mistake in this PPT. This PPT is saying that 12,000, but Cisco is saying 13,000. There are some other devices as well, like wireless sensor, concurrent endpoints, number of transit endpoints over 14-day period, radio ratio of endpoints, site elements, number of wireless controllers, number of ports, API rate limit, net flow. Okay,
Okay.
so you can go through this data sheet. You'll get much information related to the DNS entry itself. All right.
All right.
So what I can do, Control A, Control C. Let me paste in the chat box for you. You can find the link in the chat box. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. Then now we have Cisco DNA Center. First of all, we have the versions.
Mhm. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear.
Cisco DNA Center compatibility. I think you can see the MS Paint, right? Sorry, the Chrome.
Yeah. I can hear.
So in Chrome, you can see here We have started from 1.3.0.0. Okay,
Yeah.
this was the first version of DNA Center, which was introduced by Cisco.
Okay.
1.3, then 1.3.1.0, 1.3.3.0, 1.3.4. Likewise, right now we have the Cisco 2.4.0. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the latest version. Cisco DNA Center 1.3.3.0 and 1.3x, 2.x. Okay,
Yes.
so you can say it 1.3.x, 2.x, then enhancement. So now you can see here it is talking about the availability,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So basically, for this, first of all, we need to understand the hardware of DNA Center. So do we have that? Wait a second. No. Okay. We don't have this here right now. So this directly talking about the availability basically here. All right.
Right.
So what it is saying that you know that in networks we always think of HA, which
Right.
stands for high availability.
Right.
Like we do savings,
Right.
that in case something happens, we should have the money to survive at least. So
Right.
that's why same thing is happening with the network itself. Like in the network, we can't be like, okay, we'll see it later. No, you can't see it later on, right?
Yes.
You have to think before about the mm, uh, failure. So
Right.
if something fails, you should have the backup almost ready so that
Right.
all the traffic or all the load can be shifted to that new device.
Yes.
So same thing is with the DNA center. DNA center is also supporting the high availability because high availability is the need of a network.
Yes.
So every device must have some sort of some sort of
Of course.
redundancy availability or redundancy features.
Right.
Likewise, a DNS center is having the same.
Okay.
So for DNS center, you can have one appliance, or you either should have three appliances.
Okay.
If you have only one DNS center, you know that you don't have any HA, high availability. If you want to deploy high availability in the network, you must have three DNA nodes.
Three.
Yeah, three. Okay.
Okay.
So in that case, you'll connect DNAC 1, DNAC 2, DNAC 3.
Hmm.
Seen as a one logical DNAC instance. So it will have three DNACs.
Right.
It will be seen as a single
DNAC.
DNAC.
Right.
Connect to virtual IP. I'll talk about what is cluster IP when I'll discuss about the DNA center ports. Okay.
Okay.
Rarely you need to access the individual nodes, but you can do it through SSH.
Okay.
And how it works? It works like this. Two nodes active sharing. One is therefore redundancy.
So two will
Some
be like
services run multiple copies, spread access nodes, databases. Other services run single copy and migrate from failed to redundant nodes.
so it will be like two are active, another one is passive.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Now it is talking about the components of the DNS center, NCP network control platform, and the network data platform. So what
Right.
NCP is doing? NCP is configuring the automation of the configuration
Right.
and the telemetry configuration. What
Right.
NDP is doing? NDP is collecting the data collection or telemetry data.
Right.
So now NCP will inform the network data platform about the inventory, like
Yes.
where we have the
Device.
devices,
Right.
topology, host groups, network state changes, and path trace information.
Right.
Network data platform will inform to NCP about telemetry intent, about the alerts, about the any violation if any violation happened, right?
Right.
Because you know that who is going to take the decision at the end of the day? NCP network control platform is going to take the decision, or NCP will be making the configuration.
Right.
Yes. Then you can have the NDP components, right?
Right.
You can read all these information, but it doesn't make any like you can say any sense in the deployment, or you can say, but yeah, you can go through it, right?
Right.
It is now telling you about the NDP system components. Network data platform. In network data platform, you have the network assurance,
Right.
network cost analytics app, network segmentation and vulnerability detection app, change impact, and
Uh,
other third-party analytics app.
right.
We are using API again.
Yes.
What's
Between.
yeah, this is network control platform controlling inventory topology, etc.
Right.
And you can see and network control plato is doing the
Configuration.
configuration. And what NDP is doing is doing the telemetry thing, like collecting the information.
Right.
And what we have here, we have the network elements. In network elements, we have switches, routers, access point,
Right.
NW services, and network services, and identity providers.
Right.
NDP analytics architecture. Here we have the router, switch, WLC sensor, SNMP net flow syslog set trimming element. Then contextual data, in which we have ICE, AAA, topology, location, PX grid, DNS, DHCP inventory policy, and IPAM. Through all of this, the data will be collected. Okay.
Yeah.
We have what? We have the data analytics engine.
Right.
On this behalf, this data collected by this, we are going to take the data visualization and then the appropriate actions.
Right.
This things, which is known as network assurance. This thing is known as network assurance. So we have the raw information. DNS center will be making the information useful basically.
Yes. Oh,
It is, we can say it like something is like data science.
okay.
Like
Yes.
what salespeople do, they have the data, you have the
Right.
data, I have the data. Everyone can have the data, but who can make it useful
We'll
is
process
the
it.
task, right? So how you process it and then how you make it useful to use it.
Right.
Likewise, your DNA center is doing. It is collecting the information, then it is using the analytics engine, and because of that analytics engine, it is creating a, you can say, kind of report
Right.
that the data can be used in the network.
Right.
SD access, CLI and API versus GUI. So the best or the easiest way to use the DNS center is the
Good.
GUI basically. Okay,
Yeah.
because in CLI, you know that CLI is very
Right.
difficult.
Yeah.
I'll show you a few basics command on the DNS center. Then you will realize that the DNS center CLI is totally different than the normal routers, which is CLI. Because on routers, which is CLI, if you want to check the IP address, you can run a very simple command.
Right.
So IP interface break.
Right.
Because the devices are Unix based. See, Unix and Linux both are same thing,
Right.
but your box is totally based on Linux,
Right.
Ubuntu. The command is a bit like, complicated or different. Templates, customized workflows. Here you have the programming APIs. Like it is giving an option of GitHub.
Right.
Through APIs, you can manage your DNS center, in which you'll be using netconf and EIN in order to communicate with the DNS
Right.
center. And the last thing you can have is the DNS center GUI.
Right.
The whole process is,
Automated.
and it is giving you
Centralized.
centralized management.
Right.
So it is talking about like not about the DNS center, it's talking about the campus fabric. Okay, like it is talking if you want to manage your network devices through CLI, okay,
Right.
you can do it. In that case, you have to do it the box by box management. Means
Right.
if you have 10 devices or 10 routers or switches, you need to configure them separately.
Right.
And then in you can also use the APIs to manage, but again,
Box
it
by
is
box.
box by box management. But in case of SG access, what we can do, we can use the DNS Center GUI,
Right.
cross-app REST APIs to communicate. The whole communication is automated and we will get the
Centralized.
centralized management.
Yeah.
Now it is giving you the workflow that how you should look at the DNS Center solution or how you should build the SD access fabric. Okay.
Okay.
So if I show you on the DNS Center itself, you'll see four main components. First is design, policy, provision, and
Exploration.
assurance. Just 1 second. Let me show you. Let me access the DNS Center. Can you see the DNS Center?
No.
GUI.
No. No.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
So design, policy, provision, and assurance. Is
Yes.
it visible?
Yes. Visible.
So these are four main components of the DNA center. First of all, you have the design,
Okay.
in which you can create the network hierarchy, you can configure the network settings, image repository, network profiles, and authentication templates.
Right.
And then we have the policy. If you go on the policy, you have AI endpoint analytics, you have group-based access control, you have IP and URL-based access control, application quality of service, and you have the traffic copy. Then you go to provisioning. In the provisioning, you have the network devices because you know that. First of all, you need to add the network devices.
Right.
Then you have the plug and play concept. Then you have the inventory insights, where you create the SC fabric, in which you create the VNs, virtual networks.
Right.
Then you create the fabric sites and transits. We'll talk about what is transits. We have two types of transit here: IP-based transit and sorry, multiple types of transit. Basically, first we'll discuss about IP-based transit,
Okay.
SC access transit, SD-WAN transit. Then you have services. In services, you have service catalog, Cisco user-defined network, application visibility, stealth watch, app hosting for switches, IoT services, umbrella, site-to-site VPN, and telemetry apply setup. And as well as you have the option of cloud. Then you go to assurance. So basically in assurance, you get the information about health, issues and events, sensors, Wi-Fi 6, Rogu and ABIPS,
Mm.
POE, dashboard library. So if I click on health, you can see here, right?
Right.
It is 80% healthy because you know what I have? I have switches, one switch on the distribution, then we have access layer switch, we have the WLC as well. So you can see green, green, but WLC is red. Then you can see here, you have any wireless client, wired client? No, there's
So,
no wired and wireless client.
yes.
Then network, you have WLC here, it is managed. This is the IP address of WLC, this is the location. Reachability, network devices, reachability, whole device. You have total five devices and all of them are reachable.
Right.
Client, we have zero clients right now. Applications, you'll get the information about your applications here. Right, we don't have any application right now. Network services, triple O, DHCP, SD access.
Right.
Got it. So you have total two fabric sites, two virtual network, four fabric devices, two transit peer networks.
Yeah. Health gives our
Yeah.
overall.
Overall 66% health, poor, fair. It is fair enough, not good. Okay. So we have the fairs. Yeah. It is just an overview. We'll be digging into the details later on. Peer comparison network heat map. For this, you need to make the explicit configuration. Okay.
Okay.
So now we have four components basically.
Design policy.
We have the first, which is design. We have the policy. Provision. And four, we have assurance. All right.
Right.
Each of the component is playing a very important role. So right now it is talking about the design. Design you'll get the option of global settings.
Right.
You get the option of site profiles, DDI, SWIM, PNP. So if you go to the design again, you'll see that if I take you to the network hierarchy, First of all, in network hierarchy, you will create the sites.
Okay.
Like I have configured site.
Right.
Okay. Under we have two buildings, B9, B10. If I click on B9, get see on sector 14. Then I say we have the floors. On B9, I have third floor, first floor, second floor, fifth floor, like this. Okay.
Right.
And you know what? You can upload your design.
Design
Like
like
if you
floor
have
plan.
a network design, you can upload it to DNA Center data. Planned access point, switches. Don't have anything like this, but the time of site creation, you can upload the design as well. Okay, on the DNA Center.
Network design, or is it the drawing or something? The building drawing, something like that? Or?
Network designer, yeah, that drawing, right? So if you go to global, first of all, you can add an area. After adding an area, then you can add a building, and on that building you can import sites. So if I go here and if I say, sorry, edit floor, there is floor image. If you have any JPG file or PNP file or PDF file. Right now I don't have any file here. For example, let's try to upload this. Update. Basically, this was, what was this? This was a Cisco SD-WAN or Viptela we manage dashboard.
Okay.
But this is just an example. Like you have the network design, right?
Okay.
Here we have the AP, here we have the WLC, here we have the switch like this. That is, you can say, we say site map, right?
Right.
I don't remember the exact name, but you can upload it to the DNA like this. So you'll see the site here,
Okay.
which is a very interesting feature in itself. So first of all, in the DNA center design, you'll get the option of network hierarchy. Then you can go to network settings. If you go to network settings, here you'll get the information, or here you'll get the option to create the global information. Like who is going to be the DHCP server? Who's going to be the, what is the domain name? What is the IP address of your DNS? What's the time zone? If you want to write the message of the day, so you can say welcome to the DNA center world. Okay.
Yeah.
Then device credentials. While making the configuration, you need some sort of credentials like CLI credentials, SNMP credentials, version 3 HTTPS or HTTPS guide. So you know that in SNMP we have three versions: SNMP version 2, and SNMP version 3. SNMP version 1 is not supported here. You need to configure version 2 or version 3 on the network devices. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So you know that in SNMP we have read and write permission.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Just give me 1 minute, Nitish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, Nitish. So you have to provide the credentials on this DNA center. SNMP version 2 read, SNMP
Right. Excellent.
version 2 write, SNMP version 3. Likewise in HTTP or HTTPS, read and write credentials. Then you will create the IP address pools. Okay.
Okay.
So I have created IP address pools. Like I've created IP address API IP address pool. I have configured global pool. I have configured user IP pool.
Oh,
Right.
right.
After making this configuration, you know what? This configuration is done in the global mode. Then you have to go to the site,
Mhm.
and on the site you have to reserve a pool.
Okay.
First, you'll
Okay.
configure a pool in global mode. Then you will have to reserve this pool in your appropriate
Right.
sites,
Right.
SP profiles. So you can create service profiles here. Like if you want to add, you have to tell the profile name, for example, A, B, C. Then you have to when provider, select value. No option available, model, 4 class, 5 class, 6 class, 8 class. Basically, it is about the quality of service you need to
Mm.
configure,
Oh,
right?
right.
But right now we don't have anything like this. Then you go to wireless. Here you'll configure the SSID.
Okay.
At the time of SSID configuration, we are getting the option. First, it is for enterprise or for guest.
Okay.
So if we'll go for guest, you'll see what is the name of ID. I said keep it as guest. What kind of service you want to offer? 2.4,
Mhm.
5 gigahertz or 6? You can see
Mm.
now we have the 6 here.
Okay.
Triple band operation with band select, 5 gigahertz only, 2.4 gigahertz only, or 6 gigahertz only. So if you see, this is guest, right? You don't want
Right.
any guest to utilize more bandwidth. So you can say only 2.4 gigahertz.
Mm.
What kind of traffic delivery you want to give? You have platinum, gold, and silver. So it is best effort. Yeah, we are
Right.
going to give it silver. What is
Okay.
admin status? Yes. Broadcast SSID? Yeah, we want to broadcast it because you know that you have two types of SSID. Either you can broadcast it or you can keep it hide.
Right.
Next. What kind of security you want? WP3, enterprise, then layer 3 security. You want to keep it open? We said no, we want to create it web policy, central web authentication. Web authentication, internal, web authentication, external. So for this, you need to add a authentication server. Means we need to add ICE.
Do this. Right.
I said open. Please associate one or more AAA server using configuring AAA link to ensure right configuration is pushed for the selected configuration settings. But we are using the open here. Then next. You have not configured any AAA server for the SSID. No, we don't want this. Guest. Next. You need to add a profile here with SSID. While creating the SSID profile, you will say that is this member of the fabric or not member of the fabric? I said, yeah, member of the fabric, profile name ABC.
Right.
And you have to associate with this profile. Associate next. Basic settings, all of these things. Now you can save it. You can go to wireless home now, and you can see that we have added a SSID guest, right?
Right.
And then telemetry. Here you will get the information about you want to use Cisco DNA Center as an SNMP trap server or you want an external SNMP trap server. This is your choice. So I'm using Cisco DNA Center as SNMP server.
Yeah.
You want to use syslog? Yeah, I want to use this DNA Center as syslog. NetFlow. Choose Cisco DNA Center to be your NetFlow collector server or add any external NetFlow collector server. This is the destination server for NetFlow export from network devices. See,
Right.
whatever the configuration you're making here will be pushed to all the devices. Okay. So if we'll say that we want to use DNS Center as a NetFlow server, so all of the devices will be configured with NetFlow, and the server would be the DNS Center. Interface for application telemetry, add wireless wired endpoint, data collection, wireless controller access point, and wireless client health enable. You can save it by making the appropriate changes. Okay. Then image repository in the design itself. You can upload the images here. Can import the images, then you can upgrade your devices through that in those images. Okay. So upload the images here. Network profiles, we'll talk about it, and then authentication templates. We have three authentication templates: closed authentication, low impact, and open authentication. Then next option is policy. So basically we'll dig into details later on, but right now you can just remember that the DNS entry is having the four-step workflow. To create
Okay.
a fabric, first you need to configure the design, then
Right.
policy, then provision, and then assurance.
Right.
All right.
Oh,
Now we have the global setting, site profile, PNP user access. In policy, we have the virtual network, ICE AAA radius, endpoint groups, and group policies. In provisioning, we have the fabric domains, control plane, border as, fabric WLC, AP, and external connect.
yeah.
In assurance, we have the health dashboard, we have 360-degree views, we have net, device, clients, and we have the path
Please.
traces. So the whole STA fabric, that is a combination of multiple services to simplify the configuration and to simplify the operations. What Cisco did, Cisco have segregated the operations, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. All right. Now it is talking about the ST design. So I have already shown you this, right? In network design, you'll see network hierarchy, network settings, image management, and network profiles.
Mm.
In ST access policy, you'll get virtual network, access control, application priority, and application registry. In provisioning, we'll see device onboarding, device inventory, fabric and administration, and post
Mm.
onboarding. And ST assurance, health score, client 360, device 360, application 360, and click to resolve. So for device 360, you need to go to systems. This is system 360. On this, you can go see interesting information. First is it is talking about the host. Host means the DNA center itself.
Right.
Can you see
One
the
thing.
drawing?
Yes.
192.162.110. This is the IP address of DNA
DNS.
center itself.
Right.
High availability. You can see enabling high availability requires installing a minimum of 3 Cisco DNA center
Right.
host. So if you'll have the high availability, then you'll see the other DNA centers will be presented here, all of
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Then you can see the guide here. Then cluster tools.
Cluster tools.
Yeah, it is when we have the cluster, then you'll see the options of monitoring and all that.
Okay.
System management.
That's it.
Here you can see,
So the DNA management needs to be connected to the.
yeah, which is known as CCO account.
It needs to be connected.
Yeah, because if you'll connect this and you need to update the DNA sentences, like right now we have pro.x, for example. So if something new comes, right,
Right.
you can update it directly from the DNA center itself. So you'll upload when you want to upgrade it. Basically, on the back end, what DNA center will be doing, DNA center will be communicating with the Cisco servers. So that you need
So
the credentials. Okay,
is it the management itself or the service port? The
service.
service.
Yeah, and your system is right now up to date. Backups, no backup server configured. Application help, automation and assurance, both are up. Okay.
Right.
Mhm. Then ICE, no, not connected with ICE,
Right.
not connected with IPAM, not connected with vManage. Okay.
Right.
So right now our DNS entry is not integrated with any external service.
Right.
Service export. Here you can see we have total 134 services running on this DNS center.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You can click on this 192.162.100
Yes.
product ID VMware virtual platform VMware interfaces plus then system 360 again. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm not satisfied with the PPT only because it is not giving you much information about the DNS entry itself. Now it is directly moving to underlay, right?
Right.
But before that, we should discuss about the DNS center, that how we can install this. Leave it for now, okay? Let's discuss about first the DNS center. So what we have did here, we have just discussed the basics of DNS center, that what kind of hardware you can purchase, the components of DNS center.
Right.
Then we have covered the DNS center analytics architecture. Then we have discussed SDX's GUI. Then I have shown you this, all of this, right?
Right.
But now, now let's discuss about the DNS center box. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, the DNS center box. This is the box. And this box is having total 5 interfaces.
Yes. So
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
it can be any hardware M5, like any of the hardware models with
Yeah, any of the hardware module. Yes.
like 46, 56,
Yeah, yeah.
one.
Yes.
So it will
Yeah.
have only 5 interfaces.
Yes. So here we have, CIMC. Okay.
Yes, this is the application for managing the server itself.
Yeah.
What is
Enterprise.
Cisco? What is the full form? CIMC.
I'll tell you what is the full form. Don't worry.
Mhm.
CIMC full.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Then you have the enterprise port. So basically, what is CIMC? Cisco Integrated Management Controller is used for management monitoring of series rack servers. CIMC provides options like WebGUI, CLI, and IPMI for management monitoring tasks.
Right.
Then you have the next port, which is your enterprise. You have a port for cluster. Okay. You have a port for cloud.
Mhm.
And one more interface, which name is don't remember. Just 1 second. Let me check. DNA Center interfaces. Can you see this?
Yes.
So basically, the fifth port is your enterprise intra-cluster management port. Okay. So you can call it management.
Okay.
So first we have enterprise port, then we have intra-cluster port, then we have management port, internet port, and CMC port. Internet or cloud port is the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see this while you make the configuration and then while you do the installation, you'll see that interface is written in this format.
Okay.
So enterprise S0F0. This is the port of capability 10
Yes.
Gbps.
Okay.
Then you have the intra-cluster port because when you'll create the inter-cluster, cluster means
Mhm.
then when you'll have the three DNAs,
Yeah.
DNA1, DNA2, DNA3. So to form a cluster, you'll see that they have a dedicated cluster port. Okay,
Okay.
that you can connect them. Sorry, we are not going to connect them directly. Basically, we will have a switch. So the cluster is port is connected here. then
Okay.
here, and then here.
Okay.
So this is the cluster port.
Right.
So the DNAs will be exchanging the information related to cluster communication. Then we
Right.
have 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps management port, network adapter 3.
What is this
And
management? What is the management for? Like we have CIMC port. Why you need an additional management?
it is for the GUI,
Okay.
to take
To
the
access
DNA
that.
center GUI.
Okay. So we don't
Okay.
need to go through the Cisco. Okay.
What?
Like directly for to the application to the
No, see,
software.
CIMC is a totally different thing. Okay.
Okay.
CIMC
CIMC.
is used for the software management. Like if you want to upgrade a server,
Okay.
or if you want to install something on the server, either you can go to the server itself and you can insert the pen drive or hard disk, or you
Okay.
can do it directly from your laptop
Right. Right.
for that. But the actual GUI, like this GUI,
Okay.
this is not through the CIMC port. Okay,
Okay.
this through the management port.
Clear.
It can be of 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps, 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps. But your Cisco IMC port is,
One G.
and
Oh.
DNS center itself is giving you a direct internet port.
Right.
But it is optional. You can connect it directly to the internet, or you can connect it through the enterprise interface. Okay,
Okay.
it is your choice.
Okay. But all these ports are separated from each other.
Yeah, all of these ports are separated. Yes.
Okay. Clear.
So you can see you have modules here. The secondary interface is instance for any kind of failure. Okay.
Redundant. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It's 5 types of port, but it has a secondary module.
yeah, we had a design here basically. Let's read about this. First of all, you can see the enterprise port, network adapter 1, right?
Right.
So you can see that see, first of all, see this
Right.
required. The purpose of this port is to enable Cisco DNA Center to communicate with and manage your network.
Right.
Connect this port to a switch with connections to the enterprise network and configure one IP address with a subnet mask for the port.
Right.
This is your DNA center,
Yes.
and you have the devices here: R1, R2, switches,
Right.
WLCs, APs. So
Right.
basically, it is talking the manage your network. So basically, this is known as the enterprise network, right? Because where we have the network devices.
We can
So
say
the
it is.
DNS center, yeah. So
We can
DNS
say it's
center will be providing the management port will be provided. Sorry, not the management enterprise port. The enterprise
mhm.
port will be providing the connectivity to this enterprise network. Okay.
So it's some kind of like in-band management.
In band management, see, we can't say this like in band management because we are not talking about the management of the DNA. We are talking about the enterprise network here.
Yeah. Right.
See, so see, DNA center is doing what? We need to add the devices on the DNA center, right?
Right.
For that, the network devices must have an IP address, right?
Right.
So DNA center will reach to the network devices through the enterprise port. You can say this.
Okay.
So basically, enterprise port is doing what? Enterprise port is providing the reachability of the DNA center to the network devices, basically.
So it's like the underlay itself, the underlay network.
Yeah, you can say
Okay.
primary instance, secondary instance. On the 44 and 56 core appliance, this is the left hand port. It is telling you the exact location of the port.
Yep. So we can use both the primary and secondary instance ports we can use together if needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have the 10 Gbps intra-cluster port. See, while you are making the configuration, you have to configure the cluster port also.
Yes.
So the DNS center must have a cluster interface. So the purpose of this port is to enable communication among the primary and secondary nodes in a cluster.
Right.
Connect this port to a switch with connections to the other nodes in the cluster and configure one IP address with a subnet mask for the port.
Right.
So this is the DNA 1. This is the DNA 2. This is the switch. At the time of installation, at
Yes.
the time of installation, you have to mark this port as cluster port.
Right.
And then you need to define an IP address. For example, 192.168.2.1.110, 192.168.2.1.1.1, so that they can communicate with each other.
Right.
It is a
This
10
cluster,
Gbps. Yeah.
but the cluster port is already assigned. It's
What?
already the cluster port is already assigned, right?
Yeah, port is already assigned, but you have to mark that
The IP.
I want to use this port as cluster interface.
Okay.
I'll show you at the time of installation.
Okay.
Then you have the management port, which is an optional port. This port provides access to the
DNAC UI. Yes,
allowing
center.
users to use the software on the appliance.
Right.
Connect this port to a switch with connections to your enterprise management network and configure IP address with a subnet mask for the port.
Right.
The next port is optional 1 Gbps internet port. This port labeled 2 on the rear panel is optional. Use it only if you cannot connect the appliance to the internet using the
Right.
10 Gbps enterprise port.
Right.
As I've already told you, we will be providing internet access through the enterprise port. But if you are not able to achieve this, you can directly connect your DNS center to the internet link. Okay.
Right.
If you need to use this port, connect it to a switch with connections to your internet proxy server and configure one IP address with the subnet mask for the port. But you'll see most of the time this port is not being used.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not the least is optional but strongly recommended, which is your CIMC port.
Right.
This port provides browser access to the Cisco Integrated Management Controller out-of-band appliance management interface with its GUI.
Right.
Its purpose is allow you to manage the appliance and its hardware. Connect this port to a switch with connections to your enterprise management network and configure an IP address with a subnet mask for the port.
Right.
You know that you have to configure IP address on each and every port.
Right.
You can see required IP addresses and subnets. So you have total 5 interfaces. You must have IP address on enterprise port and cluster port. All of other ports are optional. But you must have an IP address on enterprise port and
Cluster.
the cluster port. Okay. So if I show you this thing, okay. Can you see the GUI? Sorry, can you see the
Yeah.
DNA? Yeah.
Yes.
So 192, 162.150. Can you see my DNA?
Yes.
I've installed DNA Center and DNA Center is up and running.
Right.
So you can see that this is a virtual DNA. So it is your choice how many interfaces you want to give it to the DNA. I have given only two interfaces,
Okay.
network adapter. So for example, if you want to add a new virtual machine, you can go to next, then you can give it a name. For example, DNA.
Right.
Compatibility. Guest OS family is Linux
Mhm.
and guest OS version is Ubuntu Linux 64.
Okay.
Then next, you can see the options to give the CPUs.
Right. We
You
need
can
to.
give it 44 at least.
Okay.
Memory, RAM. You want to give the RAM in GB, so you can give it RAM. For example, see if you're installing virtual DNA,
Okay. Okay.
so at least 192 GB of RAM. Okay,
Okay. Minimum.
at least minimum. But I have given 256 GB RAM to my DNA center.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So for example, if I give it 192, we would not be able to install it right now because my DNA is already up and running. So all the memory is consumed by that.
Yes.
Hard disk, at least 1 TB.
Okay.
You can say thin provision.
Right.
Basically, what is meaning of thin provision and thick? Is it clear?
Yeah. You can see.
Thick means if you are giving 1 TB, so the server must have 1 TB space.
Okay.
Thin means the DNA
Uh,
center will be utilizing the memory
mhm.
as per the
Need.
requirement or need. Yeah. Then you are not getting the default interfaces here. So what you have to do, network adapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 interfaces. Yes.
You can add. So okay, we have added more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Yes.
We have now 5 interfaces. Next. Yes.
Mhm. The VM.
The VM will be added here. Can you see
Okay.
this?
Okay.
Now, I haven't given the operating system yet. So go to edit. Add other device. CD DVD drive. Then edit CD DVD drive. Then data ISO file. And here we have the file. DNAC 1.3.1 and 2.3.3.5. You must have the file first and download it from Cisco site,
Okay.
then upload it to your server, and then you can give it to
Yes.
the machine that I want it to boot from DNS Center, for example, 1.3. So for 1.3 it is 20 GB file, but for 2.3.3.3 it is 36
Okay.
GB of file. So for example 1.3.3.1, select save. Now power on.
Yeah.
It is starting. Mm, 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 mm. Let's see if it starts. Then we need to do it in the next class, otherwise. कपड़े धोने थे, वॉशिंग मशीन बाहर कर दूं। So DNA Center is a very heavy box, basically.
Okay.
You can see it is giving you two options. Start a Cisco DNA Center cluster or join a Cisco DNA cluster,
Oh,
right?
right.
We are not joining anything, any
Yes, sir.
cluster. We are just starting Cisco DNA Center cluster.
Right.
Yeah, simple enter.
Okay.
Is loading the configuration. Yeah, so can you see it?
Yes.
First interface is you can see on the right left side, recommended use enterprise network.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so we are not making any configuration here. You just need to put an IP address. Then you have to give a net mask, default gateway if you want to give it, then DNS server, and then static route. If you want to use this interface as cluster, no, I don't want to use this interface as cluster. Next, you can see that this wizard has discovered 5 physical network adapter installed on the appliance,
Right.
right?
Right.
Next, you can see the network adapter 2. It is for intra-cluster link, all right?
Okay.
While you make the configuration on this, please make sure that you select this using the space because the DNA must have one cluster interface. Next, this is for management network. Can you see on the left side?
Right. Right. Recommend
Then next, this is for
internet access.
internet access network. It is not giving you option of CIMC right now. Maybe it is given. We have skipped that. But you can see that an interface must be configured with valid network configuration. You haven't configured IP address on any of the interface, so we can't continue. Okay.
Right. Right.
This is how you need to make the IP address configuration on the DNA center interfaces
Right.
and must have IP address on two interfaces at least, enterprise port and the intra-cluster port.
Okay.
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 Yeah. So you can install it now, right? Like this. Then you'll select next. It will ask you for the NTP server and then GUI password, and then you can do next. Okay.
Okay.
So you must have a valid NTP server from so that it can synchronize the timing. And one thing always remember while you are installing the virtual DNA center, the DNA center must be reachable to internet anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
So this is how we can install the DNA center here, which I have already did. So next class we'll start with the network underlay,
Okay.
that how to build the underlay. Then we'll discuss how to build the overlay, how to add the devices to the inventory, and then we'll see what next. Okay.
Can I have an access of this lab if it's later on?
Not right now, but yeah, later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Nitesh, that's all for today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye bye.